Screw it. I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThatUmbrellaGuy. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me, or I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me, or I'm a man. I'm a man.
Nah.
All right, what's up? Welcome to a crazy, man, this stuff. Okay, if you have not been keeping up with this insanity that is brewing online, oh my gosh, you have been messing out. This is the biggest thing that is not being reported. Why is it not being reported? Well, it involves politicians. It involves charitable organizations. It involves the top tier, used to be the richest man in the world, and his $44 billion vanity project that is Twitter. It involves bannings and so much more. I mean, this is getting wild to the point that, I mean, you would not freaking believe the story that's here. It is being brought up by a lot of people. I have to give them all props in this too. I'll forget many, so I just want to give props. But you know what's crazy? We had a new development today in the Eliza Blue insanity. It was probably, I think, I'm not really surprised by it, but I am disappointed. And that is the banning of the person that originally broke this story. They were banned today. Why? Because, well, they broke a story that Twitter doesn't like, and they mentioned Twitter's trust and safety person in it. Now, the head of trust and safety for Twitter, the old one, as many problems as I had with the old Twitter trust and safety, yeah, no, they didn't. Oh man, Red State, they're apparently scrubbed there. This is crazy. So Red State, I covered this yesterday. Red State did an article about what I'm going to talk about today. They pulled it today. They ghosted it. They ghosted it. It's gone. Not only did they do that, but the author of the article came out and said, yes, I can confirm that it's been pulled, but they cannot say why. Nuts. I mean, this just keeps getting bigger and bigger. But before we get in this, I really want to share one thing that happened today. Again, because this is an injustice, a huge injustice. We've been talking about the quartering, Brittany, Vinny, all of the other people that have been banned. Well, the guy who called this stuff out in the beginning, Defango, he's been banned. Drink that in. He's been banned because they can't take the criticism. I saw a membership, by the way. I apologize. I missed that one. I was going to hit it, and I missed you. Whoever you were, props to you. I appreciate you. I apologize. I missed you there. Nick V, MZ, thanks for the 2. Eliza's fraud, indeed. Also, K-Rap, thanks for 5. Off topic, Captain Corey is looking for help getting people to subscribe to his mom's channel, The Crap Goth. He wants to get her a play button. I'll look into that after we cover this, and I'll see exactly what's going on with that. You know, if somebody will message me about it, I'll look into that. But yeah, okay. So the guy, now, if you've never heard of Defango actually broke the Eliza Blue story. I'm going to say weeks, maybe even months before anyone else. Now, to be fair, many of you might be like, hey, who exactly is Eliza Blue? Well, Eliza Blue is a self-professed advocate of survivors, also claims to be a survivor themselves. But recently, when somebody asked questions, the banning started. Now, one of the most, I'm going to say one of the most telling threads on this person came from Defango. I mean, they had firsthand knowledge of who this person was, everything about them, and of course, that got them banned. Now, they also tagged in the head of trust and safety and said, basically, you know, the message that you put out the other day, yeah, it's a bunch of crock. Basically, again, in a nicer way than I just said it. That probably contributed to, but that tells you, again, Twitter, they are not the thing that they've been selling people. And, you know, I don't want to say this as an ego boost, because many other people were right about this too. But remember, we had conversations about Elon Musk, and I said that he would ban us all if we were covering, if just a year ago we were covering the herd dep stuff before the trial, and all the items came out about him and the ACLU. And I said that man would ban us all now if he owned Twitter. And people were like, nah, that never happened. He's a free speecher, baby. He's a free speecher. Yeah, he would have banned us all. He'd have banned us when the trial came up and there was coverage about it. When you've got to look at the warning signs. This was always there, by the way. It's just people, they chose to ignore this about Elon Musk. Elon Musk cannot take criticism. Not only that, but during that trial, it was revealed that Elon Musk, he is the biggest contributor to the ACLU. Again, they don't believe in free speech. They believe in their speech. Their speech. That is a big difference there. If that isn't bothersome to you, remember, he bought an ambassador title for Amber Heard that cost him around $6 million in donations. She used that to ruin a man's life. So, I mean, the warning signs were there. Everybody was saying, yeah, not just myself, many people. And we were giving shit about it. We're giving shit about it from even people I like. You know, again, I won't name any of them because many of them have gotten crap from Twitter. Oh, but yeah, for sure. I think there's going to be lawsuits involving this. In fact, I'll tell you this at the end. I'll tell you this later. But the crazy thing happened today when I got in. So I got to tell you about it. It was about 5 something. I guess I was streaming with Defango and I had something weird happen. So I'll tell you about this in a minute. But Evil Befall, thanks for the 9 months there. Can't believe it's been 9 months already. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? Time flies when you're having fun. Stacy D, thanks for the 5 gifted memberships too. Thank you for that. I love watching them fall in. So thank you. Always love watching the gifted memberships fall. But this happened today. And then there were 2 things that really do need to be discussed too. So there was an article that came out from Red State. Now, the Red State article is actually archived. All right. Let's see. Let me make sure. you can see, I'm going to show you the article first. It includes all of this stuff. See, you can ghost it, but it still exists in the Wayback Machine. And of course, everybody's capturing everything. But they decided to take this down. Now, there's an interesting thing. Now, Red State, I firmly believe, from what I'm hearing, that there is something going on behind the scenes with conservative media that is keeping them from covering this story. I think it has to do with probably Eliza Blue has a politician, ex-politician daddy. I can't remember if he's active or not, but you know, he's definitely a politician through and through, and none of these places will cover. In fact, if you look up, I found this interesting about Red State. When they put up this article to begin with, all of their other articles, I didn't see them doing a disclaimer in other articles, but this one has one. You notice that? The opinions expressed by contributors are their own and do not necessarily represent the views of Red State. That wasn't there with other articles, but it's there with this one. Now, if you go and you look this up anywhere, this article, it has been ghosted. Like I said, it doesn't exist. If you go to their site, here's a screenshot from their site. It's toast. It does not exist anymore. That's not sexy toast either, just to say. See, Mac, thanks for the 2 there. Hey, Tuck, so glad I found the Pickle family. Indeed, I'm glad to have you there. Just want to say thanks for all you do. And hey to the chat. Sending love from Ireland. Well, love returned, by the way. Love returned. So you can see, though, ghosted here. Now, it's also, it's been ghosted to the point that it's been scrubbed offline. Here, you can actually see them. They missed a link. So I found a link that was up, and they deleted it. They were like, whoops, we forgot to scrub it all the way. We were pretending that it didn't exist. Oopsie, look at that there. So yeah, they were in the process of scrubbing it because I tagged them in. I was like, hey, you want to comment on this? You want to tell us why this thing disappeared? And they were like, oopsie daisy, got to get rid of that damn thing because that can't have any record of that at all sitting around. Now, why is that? Well, it's interesting. Like I said, we have the author of this actually was asked what happened to that story. They were like, hey, it's unpublished. I can't speak to it further. So you know some crazy is going on behind the scenes. And then on top of that, you have reports from American Crime Journal. American Crime Journal says that the politician daddy actually hit them up and said, yeah, they would respond to their inquiries and give them an off-the-record discussion about what's going on. So they would, quote unquote, answer the questions as long as the questions were not public, if they would take down the article that they wrote. They want this scrubbed. Again, every place they want this stuff scrubbed. And it's going to be fascinating because the quartering has come back. And the quartering has done a couple of things here that, well, it's going to test what happens on this platform, because quartering didn't just come back and post. The quartering, give me 1 second. I'm glad to see the quartering back, by the way. I very much am. You know, the quartering, some people were like, I don't like the quartering. I don't like what he covered. Well, that's okay. You don't have to like me. You don't have to like anybody else. This is about censorship. I like the quartering. Like I said many times, I'm going to say this every freaking time when I bring it up. When I was a tiny little bitty channel, little baby channel, I had some issue that I needed some support with. And you know who threw in first off of this? I mean, big. He wasn't as big as he is now as channel-wise. He had over 100,000. I was tiny. No gain for him, though, whatsoever. No upshot whatsoever. But they had my back in that. And what's happening with him is 100% wrong. It was 100% wrong, him getting hit. But now, so if you've seen this meme here, this is the Jack Murphy, you know, another online grifter with the Eliza Blue. Now that picture has been getting banned on Twitter. That's right. They're okay with memes and they're okay with jokes. They like the jokes, right? But they've been banning that picture. So I'm wondering, right from go, where he posted this, if they'll have the stones to take him down. or do anything. See, the quartering is not some tiny channel. The quartering has a lot of reach, both on Twitter and on YouTube. And if they take him down, he'll get much bigger from this. But I mean, he has 250,000 followers there. I mean, myself, I keep wondering if I'm going to get hit with this stuff. I mean, I don't want to, but I have this problem where I can't ignore things like this. Like it's injustice. And there's always this line in this stand. You know, I think all of us suffer from this. Well, not all of us, but a lot of us do. You ask, what isn't acceptable for them to do? And they crossed the acceptability line. They absolutely did. They crossed it in the flagrant censorship and the insanity and beyond. Hey, what's up, Dreadnought? Thanks for those 5 gifted memberships, too. Thank you for that. I appreciate that for sure. Nick V and EMZ as well. Thanks for the 2. You should sue, Tug. Not yet. I did get I'll just note this. So I got a weird threat. Now, this could be trolling. I don't know. I told I've never dealt with a call from a place. So I got a call. I'm going to see if a place sends me something, because again, this could very well be, I don't know. I've never gotten a call trial. I got a call from Montegraph one time, but I've never got a call from a place. So after I talked to Defango, after I've been sitting for a little bit, I got a call from a place that let's just say identified it as a law office. And they told me, related to this, they told me that they represent, I'm going to say, a party that we discussed. Again, I want to see this in writing. I want to see it formal before I say that this is 100%. But they told me they were informing me that I would be sent a cease and desist for talking about their client. So we'll see if that's real. I hope it is. Oh, God, I hope it is. God, I hope it is. It's not Eliza Blue, by the way, but it's somebody that is attached to the Eliza Blue stuff. So I got, like I said, they seemed formal enough, but I didn't get paperwork. And that's really weird. Like, I don't think in the process you get calls, but who knows? Maybe somebody just wanted to flex. I don't really know. But I told them to send me some paperwork. They could send it. I have a P.O. box. They could serve me, you know, they could send it to me, or they could send it to my email if they wanted to. But I would like legit papers sent to my P.O. box. That would be cool. So if they do, of course, I will put it on blast everywhere. But oh my God. And these people are dumb enough to sue somebody. So again, I don't know. I can't say that's right. I've just never had anybody like call, and I had Monograph try to call that one time, but I've never had anybody call and make threats like that. You know, it is a legit law. But again, you know how the internet is. Like, until I have a even if I have a paper, I would call their direct line and confirm it with them. But I want to see if I get something there. You know, I'll do my due diligence on it. But I thought that was strange. Like, right? I mean, just a little bit before we start going in. Yeah. So like I said, this is getting weird, though. It's a weird one, and it's not only. I'm going to show you this thread in just a second, because I think it's a good expose thread. But on top of that, you know, you got to remember, Eliza Blue has promised lawsuits. You know, she it all started with a Worldstar video and clips from it. Brittany Vinny was, I think, pretty nice. She was the first person to get hit for it. Then you had Quartering, Yellow Flash, Camelot. I mean, it's just a who's who of YouTubers. And then, I mean, there's dozens of other people. Again, Defango, the guy who started the threads, the guy who told everybody that this stuff happened. He got hit. Fair and Balanced has had links ghosted. So I also noticed this thing. Okay, I noticed this, and you can't do this yourself online. This is how I noticed the Red State article missing, though. So I shared. The Quartering brought up something really weird the other day, and this is actually a very legit concern. He said that Twitter was ghosting some of his posts. When I say ghosted, I'm not talking about the thing that was banned. I'm talking about content was being removed. Now, you got to remember that Quartering, he was banned for days, so he did not have access to his account. He was setting out a ban. Like I said, he hadn't removed anything. And yet, check this out. So if you look up Social Blade has many problems, but they do okay with Twitter. Again, they do okay in the fact that they can track over a few days. They may lump in the numbers, but they do okay with tracking, right? Well, if you notice, here's his tweets. This is when he's banned. Okay, I'm going to assume one tweet is the tweet that they took down, although I don't know how that process works. I don't know how that registers, but let's just assume one of those is it. Again, he's setting out a ban. He hasn't removed any material. What are the other 8? Where did those come from? Because it looks like he had 8 posts removed that he himself did not take down. I mean, really think about that. Now, you wouldn't think that you could notice this either because, okay, like my account. If we look up my account on here, right? On my account, give me 1 second. If I'm posting, I'll show you. Typically, you wouldn't be able to notice this unless you were watching for it, right? So give me 1 minute here. Now, I'm not in the habit of deleting. If I delete messages, I may delete one here and there, right? But I don't delete en masse ever. So unless I delete them all, I delete gobs of them. So I was wondering, the other day when we started talking about Eliza Blue, the controversy before the banning, where did the 17 tweets go? That's weird because, removing 17 tweets would be work. You know what I mean? That's actually like if I typo something, I may remove it. Or if like I got something totally wrong, I'll remove it. And then because I don't like leaving a post that's factually wrong. I'll correct it in another post, but I'll remove the original post because more people will notice the original post if it got attention. So you just remove it and tell people it's wrong. That's 1, 2. I mean, hell, let's say 3. Where does 17 come from? That's weird. So the other day, though, I noticed something even more bizarre. I noticed that out of my retweets for the red state thing, I'd actually put it up 3 times. I put up a post itself about it, and I retweeted it. I kept going back to it. It was kind of a mess up, I'm sure you all have had problems like that. Well, I looked today, and the post that had comments on it wasn't there anymore. Now, that was my post. If they ghost the link will go dead in my post, but my post will still remain. Even my retweets, they'll show something there. You'll see the removed like that, right? I had 1 post out of the 3 there, and I know I didn't remove them. I also have my Twitter locked down. Nobody else is getting into it in any way whatsoever. So nobody else would give a shit enough to remove stuff. You know what I mean? So what's up with that? It looks like there's something else happening. And again, the quartering thing, the numbers are bizarre. Like I said, with quartering, he didn't even have access to his account. And yet he had multiple posts just vanish, poof. Now, he put up a hell of a post today. A call out, a big one. He said, sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business, complicated. Now, you'll notice, too, this has gotten a lot of attention so far. 629,000 views on it. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with it, too. To celebrate my return, I would like to announce the first installment of the Eliza Blue Files, a multi-part series. Part 1, how a clout goblin infiltrated Twitter trust and safety with lies and used them to ban critics. Many of you are aware that dozens of YouTube creators, investigative reporters, and critics in general have been banned or locked out of their Twitter accounts in the last 10 days. You've also been hearing way too much about one particular name, Eliza Blue. Here's why. Eliza Blue is the most recent of nearly half a dozen alias names this person has used over the years. And that is 100% factual. In fact, if you want some crazy stories to look up the name Eliza Cuts. That, ooh, you talk about some crazy, crazy stuff that has been done. I mean, that's got some big ones. Eliza, she's chased fame all of her life. Again, that is 100% true. From dating, lead singers, actually TV appearances, she's gone on. I mean, there's dozens of things that she's tried, and she's admitted to this. She's a clout chaser. She wanted clout. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be famous. People can be that, but what this thing is, the way that the lie that comes with it right now, and I'm gonna call it a lie. It very much is a lie. I very much believe that this person's background is a fraud. There is no way that their story holds up in any way, shape, or form. You have people that were around them at the times. You have all of this information coming out, and it's their own fault, by the way. It is. They circled the wagons. They got people interested. It's all a lie, man. So just under 2 weeks ago, one particular video resurfaced on the internet. One of at least 4 rap videos known with Eliza Blue. Yes, that is true. This video had been on YouTube over 6 years. Nothing remarkable at all. Nothing. The only thing of note was Eliza Blue's response. Eliza Blue immediately leveraged her deep connections at Twitter to begin locking out anyone who posted the publicly available video, claiming it was non-consensual. Trust and safety head, they publicly backed her numerous times. The only problem here is that she lied. She was excited about the video. She begged Worldstar Hip Hop to produce the video. I played this on another live stream. She was paid. She pitched the video directly to Worldstar Hip Hop. She was blessed and almost pissed herself to be around the fancy equipment. Proof below. So listen here.
Shot that Worldstar video, I was a size 8, and I still would have classified as a Worldstar, as a plus size model. That's what's crazy with the world, is that I still would have been plus even in that Worldstar video. And I look at that now and I'm like, dang, I was so skinny, but it was the summer. I was doing a lot, But yeah, honestly, for one, I was blessed to work with one of the dopest directors in the game. Like,
so you
video
hear,
God, literally.
You hear, like, she wanted to work on that video. She was blessed to work on with one of the dopest in the game, baby. What's up, Dreadnought? Thanks for the 5. Props to the quartering for that savage burn against the Cloud Goblin. Indeed, it sounds like a comic character or something, doesn't it? Oh no, watch out for the Cloud Goblin.
Like, if you look at his resume, I was so blessed. You know what I mean? To work with him. He had a Red Dragon camera, and I almost pissed myself because it was like, a Red Dragon camera is so expensive to work with. This was like a vision of mine, not the actual video, but like the idea of wanting to do something of that caliber was so it was literally so humbling. Like, it dropped me to my knees. And to him, it was like every day. He used to work with like Lil Wayne, Young Jeezy, 2 Chainz, Migos, Rich Homie Quan, all these people, like, the list goes on and on and on. And I'm over here like, dang, Worldstar took a chance on me. You know what I mean? And now I got this Red Dragon camera. Yeah, girl, it was just very, 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 very humbling. And it's still, to this moment, it's still very humbling. I just feel so blessed. And the way the whole thing came about, and I've never even told anybody this, besides maybe a couple of girlfriends, was I had a vision. I couldn't sleep one night. I couldn't sleep. And I had a vision. I said to myself, what would take me to the next level, like, for myself? What will get me to that next level of that demographic that I want to reach, and bring them that art, bring them that fashion, but still keep it within the scope of what I'm doing. And at about 6 o'clock in the morning, I just got this thing in my head, like, Worldstar reaches the most people, like, honestly, like, that I could reach. You know what I mean? I'm never going to be on entertainment television. I'm never going to be on TMZ. You know what I mean? Unless I do something crazy or stupid. Like, I'm never going to reach.
So, I mean, you get the picture there. Again, she dreamed Worldstar. She wanted that fame, baby. She wanted it. So, non-consensual, my ass. You know, that is definitely talking about consensual. In the West, thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Tugs Thugs, by the way. Appreciate that. 2012, thanks for the 5. Well, wonder if Eliza Blue will get 1,000 reports for misinformation. Twitter can have reports and Cloud Goblin. Sure, y'all. Again, Cloud Goblin. That might be a funny. Maybe I'll put that. I'm going to put my logo, and behind me, I'm going to put Cloud Goblin. That is pretty funny, actually. I do think. So I could go on all day with Eliza Blue proving she lied about the video, non-consensual, being duped. But here's one more example. Okay, so here's another 2 minutes. And again, I think this is important because I wonder if it will remain. You know, again, I have no idea if this stuff will actually remain available. The quartering is doing a call out here. I mean, he's got a 250,000 people following him right here. Banning him will be a huge ban. And if they do that, holy shit, something's going to break this dam sooner or later. In fact, the Daily Beast tried to contact Eliza Blue today. They want to do a report. So it's going to be fascinating to see who actually manages. I'm not talking about Indie Press has hit this. Props to Bounding into Comics. Props to Pop Topic. You know, these people, they went out, they did that. I would have given props to, I gave props to Red State the other day. I will rescind that, you know, unprops to Red State. I don't know why they took it down, but they took the damn thing down. Journalism, baby. Tell that truth unless that truth is awkward and it doesn't support your stance, right?
And I wrote the actual Worldstar website. I wrote them an email. It was short and sweet and to the point. And I thought that email wasn't good enough. So I actually wrote Q, the owner of Worldstar, which has turned out to be such a blessing to me. I'm not even gonna lie. He's like a little angel. He doesn't even know who he is. But he turned out to be such a blessing. I wrote him, I added him on Instagram. I wrote him a direct message on Instagram. And I explained who I was and what my agenda was and what my whole thing was. And by about 10:30 in the morning, from about 6:30 to 10:30 in the morning, we had already started negotiations for my video. And he said to me, you know, I've never taken...
We, that is a big statement in that, you know, again, she inserts herself. She's saying things are non-consensual. She's trying to say that, you know, I'm wondering, I'll mention this. Let me finish this. And then I'm going to, I see one play for this to try to gain legitimacy. I don't know if they'll go with this, but I'll mention it in just a second.
Taking a chance on a girl that had under 1,000 or 100K. He said, I've never taken a chance on a girl that had under 100K followers. And I was like, I didn't even know what to say. He's like, but I like your looks. You're different. Let's do it. Yeah, I mean, honestly, for one,
I wonder how he feels about that now.
I was blessed to work with one of the dopest directors in the game. Like, video.
Let's see.
God, literally, like, if you look at his resume, I was so blessed. You know what I mean? To work with him.
I'm really happy that the Worldstar video got released. That was good piece to the puzzle.
I mean, this was like a vision of mine, not the actual video, but like the idea of wanting to do something of that caliber was so like, I mean, it was literally so humbling. Like it like dropped me to my knees. And to him, it was like every day. He used to work with like Lil Wayne, Young Jeezy, 2 Chainz, Migos, Rich Homie Quan, like
why is going there?
You know what I mean? All these people, like the list goes on and on and on. And I'm over here like, dang, Worldstar took a chance on me. You know what I mean? And now I got this Red Dragon camera. Yeah, girl, it was just very, 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 very humbling. And it's still to this moment.
Yeah, so you can see also. So there was a statement released by Worldstar that actually backed that up too. And it's in this video here. You know, they were asked, what do you think about these claims? Because Eliza Blue, she actually made a statement. Was it yesterday? Give me 1 minute. I need to pull her up real fast. I will actually add this into the thread too, where we're cataloging stuff. Since that comment is there, but she decided that she would sound off about, she would think Twitter trust and safety. She's burying this topic, by the way, too. You know, if you're going in and you're like, hey, I'm going to look up what exactly happened with all of this, you start trying to go through her timeline. It is absolutely insane. I mean, it is. She's tried to 100% bury it, pretend that this stuff, yeah, she doesn't want anybody. Let me show you this, okay? Let me show you what her timeline looks like, so you can tell that she will bring up things that she thinks are helpful to a point, but she's only making it worse through this move. So this is what her timeline looks like right now. If you were to look, you can see, you know, her stuff. She's shared everything trust and safety said about this subject. One of her pals, by the way, and she made this statement. But look, I want to show you. Like, look, she's buried everything between that. All of this stuff, it's just burying it and pretending that this backlash didn't happen. But she put this statement out, and I'm wondering if she's going to point a finger at somebody that was behind that video or attached to that organization in some way, shape, or form, saying they're one of the people who did this to me. Now, some people are like, hey, you know, that takes a chance with defamation. Well, you've got to remember, you can roll the dice. Maybe you can win on that too. Here's the issue. Like, winning a defamation case against a claim like that is difficult, especially if we're talking about a big time, say, director. If they have their name Me Too'd, they depending on where you live, if there's anti-slap statutes there, they may protect you. Remember Vic Mignogna, for example. He was called a pedophile in things that were damaging, helped ruin his career. A judge said that was free speech. That is free speech, no matter what it did to it. It was free speech in Texas. That's what they held up. So he didn't even get to trial. But she said, I've been sexually exploited in many ways. I'd like to thank Worldstar for removing a video depicting me on Wednesday of this week. I'd like to thank Google and YouTube for removing the video on Wednesday. I'd like to thank Twitter safety. So again, that statement right there is, depending on how it plays with Worldstar's statement, they make it very clear that they will see this in court. Like, at first, what I think happened with Worldstar is this. The reason I think they took that video down, they didn't take the YouTube video down. Let me be clear on that. I have this archive too. They got a privacy complaint. Now, a privacy complaint, anybody can make them. We've had to fight them before. My MCN fights them for me. I got hit before I had my MCN, you know, proactively looking for that. I got hit by one of the Amber Heard simps, you know, that did that. Now, from now on, if they do it, yeah. One of the things you can get with that, though, you could get sued because you try to do that. But they may have taken it down so they didn't have to deal with somebody that's litigious. You know, fighting lawsuits are expensive. They're expensive in the tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars range. So oftentimes just cooperating with somebody, that's the easiest way to go. I mean, we've seen that many times now. For Worldstar, though, they don't seem to have that attitude anymore. And especially depending on how that goes forward. Again, I don't know that will happen, but it seems like one way she's going to have to salvage her clout out of this, because whatever she says, her account, because of this specific thing, you can lose followers over anything, mind you. You know, I lose followers because I offend people sometimes, and I lose you know, you lose them for all kinds of reasons, but she's not losing them because of that. She's losing them because people feel like she's a liar. She was built up to be this specific thing, and she's losing them. How does she regain that? She names and shames somebody. That's how you do it. It's how we've seen it done many, many times. And again, I don't know that that's the way it'll go forward, but you can see the Worldstar statement here. They said specifically, she was paid for this video. We own the full rights. Anything further can be addressed via legal. I will sue your butt if you try to dance with me. That's what it sounds like. 2012, thanks for the 2. I'd like to thank Eliza for making that post to flag. Indeed. And Viral Shorts, thanks for the 5. Last time I checked, a woman being trafficked is being coerced against her will to perform and moved around for profit under the guise of her pimp. Yeah, she said, you got to remember that I can't remember if it's in this thread. Remember, she said the other day that she was trafficked on Twitter. How are you trafficked on Twitter? Well, she said people used her image for catfishing, essentially, and that was her being trafficked. Now, I had people that defended her at that time. There were many people that were like, well, what about maybe this is what she meant. Why are you, first of all, a lot of people gave her the benefit of the doubt. I understand why they did it, but people are afraid to question things anymore. They're afraid to question folks like this, And again, it's not questioning. Make this perfectly clear. Nobody was questioning her when she was saying, I'm a victim's advocate or I'm a survivor. They weren't really questioning that. They started questioning when she started getting everybody and their mama taken down. That's when the questions, they started rolling in. It became two things. It became about free speech, about blatant censorship, and it became about that too. But anyway, finishing this.
It's still very humbling. I'm never going to reach one of those demographics, but I can reach like a number one entertainment, site for urban. And I said, Worldstar, it's got to be Worldstar.
I'm really happy that the Worldstar video got released. That was good piece to the puzzle.
If you heard that was my nose spray, by the way. My sinus drove me crazy. So I was like, ugh. I feel like I sprayed I feel like I sprayed a chili pepper in my nose. Oh my God. Anyway, continuing. How about the third example? Here's the third example that Eliza Blue lied to Elon Musk and to, this is the head of trust and safety, Ella Irwin, about this video being non-consensual. Here she is, very excited, and refers to the video as another piece of the puzzle. Because again, it is a piece of the puzzle. It's a piece of the puzzle to her fame or her infamy or whatever you want to call it. Let's play it.
2016 is already started, so here we are. I'm really happy that the Worldstar video got released. That was good piece to the puzzle.
Does that sound like I'm the left and I'm digging things up to you guys when she says that she's happy it's out and it's a big piece of the puzzle? To me, that does not sound like I'm dredging up information. Okay. And she didn't say that she didn't want this out there. People were getting blocked by her, but she didn't explicitly say like, oh, this is a video that was non-consensual, because she's literally saying how it was such a great thing.
Yeah. Not only that, but she did. She has come out and said many things. So she identifies as a conservative. Okay, just to note that. And she has been saying that this move is a bunch of leftists trying to take her down because she's conservative. Again, she's circling those specific wagons. And you do see that a lot of times, a lot of times. You'll see that. But she said, her specific statement, just to refer back to that. So we have that again as part of the entire thing here. Tac. I'm going to address this one time and one time only. A non-consensual photograph. She's talking about screenshots from the video that she is hyping up over and over again. She's calling that non-consensual because she's saying she wanted to take down that video too. That was statement came later. Was posted of me yesterday on Twitter. The photos have been removed. The source of the video has also been contacted. I'm prepared to escalate to the fullest extent of the law. Twitter did an outstanding job, and they will be excluded from legal action. There won't be anyone else involved spared. She's talking about Brittany Venti at the time. That's really who she was saying. And anybody else that shared that before the quartering ban. So that's when it came in. The quartering wasn't involved in this statement beforehand, but he would be involved after the fact, just like a Yellow Flash, Camelot. And as I said, I said this yesterday, I don't wish litigation on anyone, but that being said, Yellow Flash, if you manage to get sued, I will help you get a GoFundMe. Same with you, Camelot, because that'd be the funniest thing ever. And please, please do it. Go to war, man, because my content, it'll be off the charts. So please, please. I keep trying to imagine Camelot like freaking at that. I mean, can you imagine him on the stand? He'd be taking his shirt off. Oh Lord, it'd be the funniest thing ever. Sam Panther, thanks to sending love and all the pickles and thugs. Thank you for everyone too. But there won't be anyone else involved. I take it all the way. I have no chill. I'm a survivor advocate. That doesn't stop advocating for myself as a survivor. I'd encourage my enemies to study the law. You're her enemies for asking questions. Huh. Fascinating, right? I've been for many years. Yeah, it really shows, doesn't it? It might stop you from making rookie mistakes in the future. Yeah, it really shows, man. You can totally see it. All right, let's get back to our thread, though. 1 second. I have to jump back and forth. Okay, so, one more. Here is a call she placed to her mom. This is on her YouTube, by the way. This came from her YouTube. To gloat even more about being a video vixen. I think I made my point about how she lied to those two to deplatform her critics. She abused the system in place at Twitter to protect people. Actually, it's not a system to protect people. The system that is being abused right now is the same system that is supposed to protect children. Now, this person is supposed to be an advocate. In fact, their top pinned post on their Twitter says the following, quote, reminder, a 13-year-old minor survivor begged Twitter to remove a video sexually exploiting them. Twitter reviewed the content, said no. They had his government ID, said he was a minor. This video had over 160,000 views, over 2,000 retweets. The Department of Homeland Security, they had to step in. Twitter refused to take responsibility. The lawsuit is headed to the U.S. Ninth Circuit. So she talks about how she is a child advocate in this. It's a long thread. You know, she says, I stand with the minor survivors of Twitter. I'm not alone in this. Again, she flexes that, but yet the systems that are in play to stop videos like the one she described from being shared, they're actually being utilized not to stop that kind of stuff, but rather to stop the promotion of what video that she didn't want shared about herself. It's the same thing that Twitter Trust and Safety shouted down. They shouted it down. I mean, Twitter Files. It was shouted down about former Twitter Trust and Safety, everything that went on behind the scenes. Elon Musk shouted that down in November. 3 months later, he's using it to protect her. Danny Todd, thanks for the 5 there. Elon must really like being used and abused by his women. Thank you so much for fighting the good fight, Tug. It's just hard to ignore stuff like this. You know what I mean? Like it really is. I don't know about you, again, but for me, it's very hard to ignore stuff like this. Debbie, thanks for the 4 months. Thought I'd use my milestone to say how much I missed all the Tug fam. Love being here. Subscribe way longer than 4 months. Love Tug. Hey, thank you for that. Indeed. You know, I appreciate all of you that have been here. Subscribe, support the channel. Thank you. So let's check out this third video, or fourth video.
Hi, guys. Welcome to your first installment of Life of a Video Vixen via video. I wanted to give my mom a phone call. She just called me, so let's hope to God she picks up. I want to see what she has to say about me being in music videos. So let's just give her a call.
Hello?
Hey, Mom, what are you doing?
I just got off work. I saw that you tried to call and you sent me a text message, but I was trying to call you back.
Well, yeah, I was just calling you because I wanted to get your feedback and see what you thought about me being in music videos.
Being in a music video?
Yeah, about me being in music videos. You know how I started being in music videos and I started a blog about it?
Hold on. Can you repeat everything? Because I had to turn my phone off. I couldn't hear you.
Did you turn it up?
Yeah, I turned it up.
Okay, I just wanted to see what you thought about me being in music videos.
That's fine. You've done music videos before.
I know, but what do you think about it?
I enjoy it. I think it's fun. You've always loved music. You love to dance. You like to have fun.
It's fine.
Have you watched a couple of the music videos that I was in?
Yeah, I've watched a few of them.
You told me that you thought they were funny, right?
Well, they're funny because they're so stereotypical of what you'd expect that type of video to be.
Right. Like party and whatever.
Yeah, a lot of parties, a lot of girls in short skirts, shaking their booties.
Do you think I look too sexy?
I don't think it's possible to look too sexy.
You don't think it's possible to look too sexy? So if I could be in anybody's music video, who would you have me be in?
Elon Musk.
Boys.
Them franchise boys.
Yeah.
All right. I feel what you're saying. What do you think
The franchise boys have a long history of clean music, good moral character, catchy, good. So.
Okay, so them franchise boys.
They're a classic.
All right. Well, I appreciate your opinion. I thought for some reason that you'd say that you didn't want me to be in music videos.
No, I don't mind it. I mean, as long as you don't take your clothes off and don't do anything that would humiliate yourself or your family, I don't have any problem with it.
All right. Whose video would you not want to see me in?
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg.
So you get the picture. I do not want to listen to the rest of that. But you get the picture about that. Now, again, we saw the clip here, to add even more evidence, the COO, he actually responded, disproving the story. Starring in music videos was a career choice for Eliza Blue. Here's several more examples. So she has quite a few of them. They are still out there. They are still up. That's why, again, in my gut, I think aiming at one. Now, here's where things get interesting, because you have trust and safety sound off about this. And I want to show you the entire thread of what trust and safety actually had to say about this, because they're actually making up the rules as they go. They're just coming in. And again, they're saying things that don't actually pertain to this thing whatsoever. Here you go. In the past 2 weeks, we suspended multiple accounts and or restricted content, causing confusion for users. Unfortunately, we can't answer questions or share details about specific users and account actions. But here are some of the things that can lead to these types of actions. First, we will suspend accounts for threats or incitement of violence. This includes, for example, declaring war on an individual or a group of individuals based on their religion, race, religion, etc. What is etc.? What is declaring war on somebody? Is that calling out their bullshit? Is that declaring war on them? What's asking your followers to join in this fight? So you see that right there. Telling your followers, you could go in and interpret this thing in 1,000,001 different ways. And I'm going to say that the bad faith efforts, yeah, they could easily be construed in so many negative ways. What's up, Becky G? Thanks, 5. I don't usually stream or do videos, but when I do, I put on a lot of makeup and call my mom. Well, it just goes to the whole thing that, again, this was a career path. This was not something that she was being forced into. She chose this. She wanted this. She approached the people. They talked to her about it, but she wasn't forced into that. So continuing, though, these issues are complex and often resolved in court. We don't determine who in a legal or criminal case is ultimately right or wrong, but we will continue to ensure we protect users, comply with local laws, and remove content required. This right here, wait a minute, criminal case? Is somebody going to get accused and said that they did some kind of criminal jacked up stuff? We'd be talking about civil cases in this instance, for example. So that's a kind of a strange statement in there. And this is directed to the last few weeks. So this is directed to the Eliza Blue stuff. She's sharing this too. Eliza Blue put this all over her freaking account. Second, we restrict accounts content when we receive a properly filed report that contained that content was obtained illegally, violates the law or someone's rights. These are often legal notices or court orders. Improperly filed reports are rejected. Uh-huh. I would love to see proof of that one there. And again, it's not one thing they've been taking down. They've been taking down people that make jokes. They've been taking down people for sharing links to interviews with her. It's not this one link anymore. There's so much more to it. Dreadnought, thanks for the 2. Shirt title, Attack of the Cloud Goblins. Indeed, that would be funny, actually. Reports of non-consensual nudity, copyright violations, illegal content, etc. do not get processed by all platforms at exactly the same time. However, properly filed, the content is normally removed from other platforms as well. Non-consensual nudity. She wasn't nude in these. She was on the video. And again, it's a rap video. She's trying to be sexy. She's butt shaking and all that stuff. Copyright violations, illegal content. You can see where they're trying to go with this. They're talking about a specific item. We don't suspend users for posting reported content unless it's clear the user knew the content was illegal. We do ask that it be removed before account use is resumed. Soon we'll display the specific soon. So wait, soon we'll display the specific reason removal reason publicly. They're telling you. Now, this came up yesterday. Soon we'll show you a reason. Yeah, that's going to be interesting when they try to do damage control. They're doing it for Eliza. Again, they're really doing it for Twitter is why they're doing it. So somebody asked, what about satire? They said, well, we do allow satire, but only sometimes, only sometimes. Now, they were also asked about whether or not they have a system in place for ban evasion. That's what's coming up. And again, that's damage control. That is 100% damage control. So continuing, I wanted to show you the entire thread instead of just skipping over that, But you can see where she shared that. I mean, she shared the whole thing in pieces, piece. Even more concerning is that it seems Eliza Blue is working directly with the VP of Trust and Safety to rewrite the rules of Twitter to cover attacks. Yes, that is indeed it. that is. You can see that they are making up the rules on the fly. Ella Irwin Panic released these new rules on a Sunday, again, moments after Eliza Blue's new quote-unquote claims. That's when you can see she made this claim, and then bam, you can see collusion in that. It's obvious that she is coordinating and colluding with the head of Twitter Trust and Safety. Now, what's jacked up about it, if person calls out the trust and safety person, you may well get suspended for it. That's actually what's happened to a few people. Defango, I believe that's why he actually got suspended, because he said something about this. He said something about it, and he tagged the account, and they banned him. Now, for all the garbage that old Twitter did, they are definitely a horrible setup. They didn't just ban you for saying something about them. The old head of Trusted Safety got a lot of flack. Was called a pedo excuser and all kinds of stuff, and still didn't ban people for that. So this is a new. The thin skin seems to be the going thing if you want to be in charge there. Now, this is such an important point. I decided I dedicated its own tweet to it. Eliza Blue does not work at Twitter, yet she seems to be dictating policy to serve her own agenda. And that is very true. She's not an employee there. She has no real connection to Twitter as far as being the face or anything else. And yet she is helping dictate policy decisions. They are making new rules up on the fly to protect her. That is crazy stuff. They dropped all of this discussion on a Sunday too, trying to ensure, because you won't usually get an article that blasts something in. You can address without addressing. But it's baffling to me why Twitter, consider it the entire mission of transparency and trust with its users to protect one random woman from a nothing burger video from 6 years ago. That's because it's not a nothing burger. That's the answer there. The why. There's a giant why. That question mark, it begs, it taunts me. I spent years trying to answer the last why. And this one is a very deserved why. Again, you have all these systems in play that are trying to stop you from covering it, to talk about this. You have the entire setup of Twitter. They may ban us all tomorrow. Never know. I mean, again, quartering his stuff here is a great litmus test on what they will allow. And that won't measure for smaller accounts, by the way. It's just if they'll ban quartering at 250,000 followers, they'll hit anybody. That's what it says to me. And you see, there's nothing in here that isn't a record of what was done publicly. It's even more confusing why Eliza Blue would destroy credibility over, again, a public video she begged to be in from 6 years ago, yet ignore the 4 or 5 other videos out there. Many people are speculating it may blow up her timeline of being trafficked. Yes. Maybe it has something to do with her statements in her own words. This video years after she was saved in 2012. So you can see her own statements here too. There have been many people that have been trying to turn this. Let me blow this up here. There have been many people, again, trying to save Eliza Blue from herself by her own statements about this. I mean, she makes it very clear, and it's a long thread. I don't want to read you the whole thread on it, but she gives her survivor story somewhat, but not really. She says, well, I've never spoken out previously. What's crazy too is the place she tags in here, this place. So the person behind it as well, she's talking about, they were sued for saying that their parent and brother had sex trafficked them and done all of these other things. They got sued, and they were told to pay damages of $40,000. So, yeah, that person, this organization, yeah. But when you go through, again, they make all these comments about how this comes up. Again, all of it's archived if you want to check that out. Archive everything that comes up too. I cannot make that clear enough. Archive everything that comes up. But she makes it clear in this post, which is a long one, in her own words. She puts down a timeline. And I'm going to show you a newer thing that came up too in just a moment. So you can see the video was published in 2016. I think at the very least, I've proven to Elon Musk that Eliza Blue is abusing her connection inside of Twitter for personal reasons, and that Ella Erwin is suspect at best. The creators who falsely deplatformed due to these lies should be immediately restated. Part 2 of this will discuss stolen charity money, her curious connections and allegations. She lied about starting a safe house for trafficking victims. I didn't want to have to do this. He says, I don't think it's fair to dunk on Elon. I do. I 100% fucking do, by the way. Like, he and I differentiate in this. He's being a lot nicer about that there. I 100% never have faith in Elon. I gave him credit for unbanning people. I also laughed a lot when the Amber Heard and Simps, they started abandoning in droves because something happened there. She no longer had the protections. But like I've said a million times, I know enough fucking stories. I've heard them. I don't have any faith in that. I know just crazy stuff about there should be no this level of respect is earned, and he didn't get that. And again, that's not a shot at Q. Q's like many people. He wants to believe. I get it. I'd like to. Again, I'd like to, but I don't. I just don't. Now, here's Fair and Balanced actually posting. Fair and Balanced is doing an expose on all of this, which I think will be good. She's doing interviews and everything else. I mean, she's putting together all of the pieces past everything else. But here's a fascinating audio discussion of, you have the host of Blocked and Reported interviewing Eliza Blue. When asked the question about sharing her story, just look at how this goes.
I mean, I don't know if for me to tell my story at length is going to take a while.
I don't even need that.
Questions about my story is going to take a while.
So I know the basics of your story because I've listened to your podcast.
Right. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what the question is.
Well, I can ask you the question.
I didn't agree to this. All I agreed to was answering a few questions about Twitter.
Well, okay, sure. That's totally fine. But can I ask you the questions or email you the questions and you can decide if you want to answer or not?
I mean, did you ask Amanda in advance to do that?
No, I told her that I wanted to ask you about the Twitter stuff and about your own story.
Okay, so you deceived Amanda, didn't tell her everything you wanted to ask
No,
So you see this right here. She's pissed because somebody asked her about her survivor story. I mean, many people would be like, yo, they would at least give you high points. Again, they may not go through every detail or something, but they'll give you high points on what's going on. Instead, she has somebody booking interviews for her, going in and making sure that she doesn't get questions like this that she's not prepared for. Again, just to make it clear, like I've been on many a thing. Even people that I don't like, that I've been around. I don't have anybody. The only person who screens, sometimes not for the best thing, but the only person that screens my interviews, laziness and everything is me. And I don't fucking screen any questions. I mean, my God, I've never asked that of anybody. I have asked a print article one time to send me questions so I could answer them, because they wanted print. But I've never, I couldn't even imagine doing that. You know what I mean? If a place asks you something, they ask you it. And if you don't want to answer, you don't throw a fit live either. I mean, that's strange. You bow out. You just like, hey, I don't have, she could have gone with, yeah, I don't have time to get into that right now. We could schedule something for later. That'd be great. Hey, thanks for having me on, but instead, the meltdown. And what's strange about this as well is that this is supposed to be a person that is dealing with, she said, so she raised money to go on vacation. And she said that she was dealing with, as a survivor advocate, something like 80 cases, which is absolutely unreal. That's unheard of. The only place I've ever heard of, and we're not talking about like case managers or anything. A case manager under the state, like in the state of Tennessee, they're overworked. They may have a bunch of cases, but even social workers, when you go up a different level and you go into a different job description, typically the suggestion on that is handling 12 to 15 cases. That is your suggested number. Now, that isn't always a real world estimate. Sometimes you'll take on more than you may double that. Again, the suggested number 12 to 15. But real world 20, 30. I worked in case management one time, and even that, before I did therapy, I actually started as a case manager because I wanted to know, they're not called case managers anymore, they're care managers, but I wanted to know what clientele was like at the ground floor, where meeting them where they are, not meeting them in the office space, but meeting them outside before doing therapy. When I did that, the number, you really couldn't handle over. There was a guy who quit while I was while I was doing that, and I tried to help with his load of clientele, and his load, I had 30 and he had 30. So it would have been 60, and you couldn't handle it. You could do it irresponsibly, perhaps, but it just that doesn't work. Like, there's so many pieces of this puzzle that don't come together. But we'll listen to this more in just a second. Nick VMZ, thanks for the 5. Amanda Jean is the person who does it for her, same person who got Brittany locked out of Twitter. Oh, that's who Amanda Jean is. I gotcha. I kept thinking that was an alt account for some reason. I don't know why. There's so many moving parts of this thing. It's not like a court case either. You don't have document 1 coming in, document 2. What you have is an explosion of material as everyone starts to hyper focus on this person, and you have multiple people collecting everything and putting it together. One of the reasons I'm putting this together like this and talking about it this way is because I want to document some of where we are. Again, there's more. There's so much more that's going on here. And this will continue for a while. This is going to have huge ramifications. You watch. I believe this is the thing that burns Twitter. Many people disagree. They're like, I won't do that. But you got to remember, Elon Musk, he burned the political sphere. He went to war with them. So all that money for a non-profitable, not a nonprofit, but a non-profitable business. Remember, he said, by his own words, Twitter was losing $4 million a day. Now, they were running because they were underwritten by government. That's the only way you can run like that. Special interest money. You know, they were getting money behind the scenes to the tune of millions from places like the FBI. I mean, again, you could see why they were doing that. Well, he burned all that. He's also burned the mainstream media. He's burned the quote unquote wokies, if you want to go with that. He's burned everybody there, but he was promising, hey, free speech, all of this stuff. And many people like the quartering, for example. They were hardcore believers in it. They would support it financially. I tried out Twitter Blue for 2 months. I canceled it, by the way. I canceled it yesterday, but I was trying it out because I wanted to see if it added anything. And I'll show you in just a minute that actually I can prove that they're throttling this conversation because of the metrics that Twitter itself provides. I can show you in the Twitter setup for it. And Muffin Rando, thanks for 5. Hardcore traffic and sprinkles. Sprinkles, y'all. Indeed. So let's listen to the rest of this. I mean, this is going bad, though. Like, why would you ask me questions?
Survivor on the phone.
No.
And started asking her about her personal trauma.
No, that's not what happened. I said,
I think we're probably going to be done here. Please, the next time you want to speak to a survivor about their trauma and bring up their own past.
I literally asked her. I'm going to read you. I'm going to read you. I'll read you the message that I sent her.
Please be honest in advance, because
I won't.
Because there are times when I feel cool about talking about it, and there's other times when I don't.
I'll read you the message that I sent it to her. You're not listening to me.
I was totally comfortable talking about Twitter. If you were going to ask me about my own traumatizing story, I would have appreciated a little bit of a heads up. And you know what? I think you're a cool person. I always have. And I know you're cool with Tim Dillon, and I would have appreciated a little bit more respect just off.
You're not listening to me. Here's what I said to her. I said, I'm interested in the Twitter changes as well as her history as a survivor. That is what I told her.
Okay, then I'm going to speak to her about that, because then she messed up and didn't tell me what's up.
Okay, well,
so I apologize for blooping out on you. She should have told me that. I'm going to go get in her ass. So
can I ask you the questions?
I'm not cool with it. It's been a long few days, and honestly, I don't feel like rehashing my whole own trauma on the phone with somebody I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, you see how that goes. I'm not gonna play the rest with I'm blue there. I want to keep this all up, but I mean, this freak out about, again, any question. It wasn't a rehash your personal experience. It was any question whatsoever, any probative attempt into the past that would ask. And this is a person, again, that is going out and making not only declarations, but they're making ultimatums about things like, like the Andrew Tate thing, for example. They're telling people, you need to do this, you need to do that. And, you know, again, when they're doing that, that's not deflection for Andrew Tate by any means. What that is, though, is when they're telling you, I'm speaking from X, Y, or Z experience. Well, why can't you ask questions from people? Why can't you get like a minimal fucking, I'm tired of this idea that people that, again, they run organizations, they get your money from the government. Fuck. They get underwriting from either charity, they get underwriting from governmental funds. They should answer to somebody out there, but apparently asking any form of question whatsoever. In this day and age, there's a body armor, and you can see it in the way that the media responds or it doesn't respond. This is also a disconcerting thing. So that link that the quartering was talking about, this is how it appeared. Now, the reason I show you this is because the Twitter files denounced doing this right here, labeling something unsafe, as prior Twitter did with a story. They decided to, and there's plenty of proof on this, they decided to kill any mention of the Hunter Biden laptop story. They decided to kill it outright. And this is not a commentary on that story. It's a commentary on the action or reaction by Twitter. Elon Musk said that you going out and killing a story using the mechanisms they did, these mechanisms, they are in place because of child protection. That's what they're meant for. But instead, they're being used to lock down links to YouTube videos. That's strange, right? And it's also, again, 3 months before this happened, it was denounced as an action by Twitter. Don't do that. That's terrible. That's a terrible thing. And yet, what's up, Ray? Thanks for the 5. Hey, Tug, our fans have been asking for a particular merch product. DM to sample for you if you want to take a look. All right, I'll check that out in a second there for sure. Bessie Knox, thanks to the what was that? A one-sided conversation. It was somebody yelling at another person for asking questions. Which again, you know, they that's what they came on there for. But they were like, no. No, I can't ask that. Now, they've lied about everything, though. They lied, for example, about their connection into politics. Like they just flagrantly lied about this. And this was actually called out. So here's Eliza lying about somebody called, you know, they were like, oh, you know, if you think, you know, they're calling them out for, you know, oh, your father is a MAGA candidate, Illinois Governor Richard Northland, this constant positive stroking of Putin. You know, if you think you can see they're being called out here. Anyway, I don't care what they're calling them out. But they were like, nobody in my family is running for governor. No one in my family or extended family is running for governor. My pronouns are they, them. So you violated Twitter's terms of service with this tweet. And my tweet was factual per Rutgers. Okay, well, strange. Strange indeed. Now, there have been plenty of places that reported that is indeed who she is. And on top of that, you know, the photograph. Strange photograph, isn't it? That, you know, considering that's this is a fake, I suppose. I mean, really, what's up? Cougar Curls, thanks for the 5. Eliza is. Indeed. But look at that. Okay, you can clearly see in that picture. She's there. She's standing with her family. You can see the banner behind them. I mean, it makes it very, very clear. One second. I like that. That's funny, by the way, Ray. I mean, again, denial. Oh, wait a minute. There's so much in this story. But the real thing, well, that's interesting too. Give me 1 second. So there's also a thread. So there's a place, a person online called Grifty. All right, Grifty's been sharing quite a few different items. Quite a few. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this up. But one of the things that Grifty posted, and I thought was different. This is posted through Toxic Male Clips. So how about, since these Eliza Blue backs listen and believe. She's definitely a listen and believer. Definitely. 100% listen and believe. Want you to be too. So here's an interesting story about a 17-year-old boy. It just went up. Props to Toxic Male. They've put up a lot of stuff on this, by the way. And Grifty's been getting involved too. So here's a story that I want to read to you. Blast Radius, by the way, thanks for the 10. I was skeptical about this Eliza Blue character from the start. I was thinking this person doesn't look like any child advocate, but instead looks like some kind of woke LGBT advocate IMO. Well, you get crossover, like some of the advocates that you see these days. You actually get quite a bit of advocacy from fields like prostitution, for example. You know, I mean, these are people that understand trafficking. They understand the things that are used in luring in people with promises, with, you know, and again, I mean, you get people from all over the spectrum. The thing that I had a problem with, actually I never paid real attention to them. My first problem with them was their Andrew Tate statement. And it had nothing to do with Andrew Tate. It was a denounce or else statement. They said that there was a lot of whataboutism. Like, what about Epstein? So she said, oh, well, what about Epstein? You know, Epstein had a client list she brought up. And, well, these people who won't denounce Andrew Tate, well, you know his background here. And again, a lot of people had never heard his background. All they had heard is him being a supposed, quote unquote, motivational speaker, I'll call that. They'd never heard about any of the other stuff in the background. You know, he'd just popped up out of the blue, it felt like. In 1 year, he had basically came in with this image, much like Eliza Bleu had. And Andrew Tate, he had made a lot of contacts in that too. Now, people had been taking up for him. And she was like, maybe we should make a list of them, you know, and essentially expose them like Epstein's client list, because how many had been to his compound, what kind of terrible things did he, you know, have evidence of. That's messed up. That is a false accusation. Like, how the fuck can I believe somebody that's saying, well, maybe those favorite people that you have, so anybody that stood up and said, wait a minute, I want to look at this, any of them, the reason they're doing it is because Epstein's client list. Again, it's a crazy listen and believe stunt. Again, that has nothing to do with Tate. What it has to do with is smearing people that, again, for whatever reason, they may want more evidence. I'd like the actual criminal charges, you know, myself, before I comment on the guilt or their, you know, again, we know what they're investigating, but formal statements, they weren't around then. We just had investigations going on. And Tate himself had damned himself with his own words. But again, different thing. Bessie Knox, thanks for the 2. Tell him Tug, nay, nay, nay to the cray cray. Indeed, always nay, nay, nay. So let's hear this, though. So here's an interesting thread about Eliza Blue. I want to preface, for legal or TOS reasons, that everything expressed in this thread is alleged. I've done my due diligence to verify everything. But should I be presented with compelling evidence, I will retract. So let's meet Christopher Finch. Finch was a young man in Naperville, Illinois. He lives with Asperger's syndrome, as you can see in the local newspaper article about an award that he won. Well, on one magical night in 2003, July, Chris spent a magical evening with one Eliza Seep. He posted about it on Instagram later that night. But there's something a little wrong with this situation. You see, Chris was only 17 at the time. As you can see, he celebrated his 18th birthday, December of that year. Notes the date at the bottom of the post there. Eliza was born on, so they give you that. That would make her 32 years old at the time. This was 2013, after she'd started her advocacy work. What is a 32-year-old sex trafficking advocate doing spending magical nights with 17-year-olds? Now, that's a strange thing, isn't it? Now, this may have nothing to do with anything, but Eliza does have a curious fundraising partner in Felicia Fields, who herself was charged and convicted with felonies for having sex with minor students of hers. Felicia, today we're launching an initiative to bless Eliza Blue for outgoing work in human trafficking. I'm especially grateful. So, you can see her background here. During a probable cause hearing and for 27-year-old Felicia Killings, the prosecutor said his office would not seek prison, but she gave a full confession to the police. After her arrest, she told the police about a relationship she had with a 16-year-old student and that they had sex 6 to 8 times. Students. They're students. So again, that's a mite crazy again. It's just, again, these are the same people that would wreck your life for an allegation of any type whatsoever. Even the hint of impropriety. They would burn your damn life to the ground. But the more that comes out, the more about connections and stuff. Again, it's just an insane situation. And the insane situation gets crazier every time we look at it. I mean, that's the weirdest. It's the weirdest part of all of this. Like I said, it just keeps getting deeper. The hole gets deeper. I don't think it's going to stop. What's nuts about this too, again, what we're seeing is that more and more people are getting buried for talking about this. Permanent suspensions. The people breaking this stuff, they're getting knocked out. And Defango, the guy who started this conversation that has been permanently banned, by the way, he wasn't given a reason for it. He's had to speculate on why. He was just banned from Twitter. So I mean, again, is that the free speech oasis or the free speech that I was promised? Because I don't recognize it. I don't recognize it as such. What I recognize here is, again, anything that comes up whatsoever is being censored flagrantly. Let me show you one other thing too, okay? And then I think I'm good. I gotta pull this up though. I want to show you the metrics, and I want to prove to you that there is censorship going on with this. I can show you this through my own Twitter analytics, because the analytics, it keeps a chart of everything that happens. So I want you to see this now. You can tell this is a giant story on Twitter, like a giant freaking story. Like, I cannot stress that enough. Now, look here. Look at this stuff. So, finally, if you check this out. So, my followers over the last few days, 478. No, my followers have gone up considerably more in that time period. But look at this. So, for days, even when this stuff pops off, look, the actual views on it during the main suspension, they dropped off. You had profile visits, even though I have around 1,000 new people drift in, the profile visits flatline. And so do mentions. Strange, isn't it? But the biggest story on Twitter right now involving somebody that is connected with Elon Musk, connected with Eliza themselves. Again, you're picking up 1,000 new people, but the metrics, again, one day it shows, oh, look, there's tweet impressions that are up. Now, you can tell, like, I've not been tweeting. Like, that's going to be part of a flatlining effect. But then I start talking about it, and it dips off, even though we're talking about the banning of huge accounts every single day. So if you look at these numbers versus, give me 1 minute here. If you look at those numbers versus the gains on Twitter. So gains on Twitter, I guess I haven't offended anybody for a few days. So I'm still gaining followers. But you see it right here. So despite the fact that you have hundreds of people pulling in over those days, you don't see anything. Also, somebody's got banned here. Banned. I haven't unfollowed anybody at all. So those are bannings. But again, you have all this growth, and yet, I mean, it's picked up another 200 today, I guess, because people are interested in this topic. They are heavily invested in wanting to know what happens. Because again, this isn't just some potential scam that's going on. It goes to the top levels of authority on Twitter. And yet, when you look at those metrics, they don't line up. They don't line up at all. I figure there'll be a lot of crazy. It'll keep popping off too. There's again, I believe that she is threatened to sue Worldstar. I believe that that's what happened with the takedown of one of their videos. I believe that they complied because they didn't want to mess with legal action. They may change their mind. She's going to get it sued from it. Somebody's going to get sued in this mess. She said that she's going to sue a bunch of YouTubers. Well, here's the reality to that. Someone like Yellow Flash, for example. Yellow Flash is falsely hit, right? Yellow Flash gets 24% of his traffic for videos off of Twitter. When he posts about it, 24%. That engagement is actual money. So for her to go out and to make false claims, taking that down, I have no idea how much traffic the quartering gets. I'm sure he gets plenty. Camelot, same way. But these creators they're set on the sidelines, and other people like, again, Defango or whomever, it's been hit and permabanned. That also doesn't bring up the question of what about Twitter Blue? So say you're paying for Twitter Blue, right? All the people I know that got hit, they had Twitter Blue. So they're paying their money, and then they're locked out of their accounts where they can't even cancel the service. Not only that, but they're not being provided with the thing that they were promised with the service in the first place by a company that is making up rules as they go and sold you a product. You're not using Twitter for free anymore. You are a paying customer of that platform. Things get kind of interesting in that, you know what I mean? There's enough lawsuit to go around. I wonder if Red State, either they complied with, there's one of two things. Either they complied, number one, with the circling the wagon effect that much other media is going on with, or number two, they were threatened with litigation. Litigation that wouldn't stand, by the way. There's no way in hell it would stand because, again, they're reporting on things that were transpiring on Twitter. I'm curious. I'm waiting for a cease and desist to pop up. I'm waiting for something for people to actually have something to say. But again, I think that Eliza Blue is not smart enough not to get herself sued in this. She's going to get desperate because, again, if you look, okay, so if you look at her numbers, let me see. If you look at her numbers right now, I mean, she's hemorrhaging subs because of this. And again, you know, this isn't because you offended somebody. Like I said, I offend people sometimes, or just from switch over. Like right now from YouTube, I expect, I don't know, 20,000 people to possibly not like switching topics, which is okay. I don't care. Like it is how it is. Engagement's the king, and not sub count. Most people get confused with sub count. That's engagement's the king. Her engagement, though, you notice she's also ghosting tweets. Look, she's taking down, I believe, her past history. She's ghosting it. If you look at her numbers there, she's removed over this time, documented 13 tweets. Now, with everything else going on, it does very much look like she's trying to get rid of a little bit of evidence in the process, doesn't it? Because they're not new tweets. Everybody is hyper-focused on that. Everyone's vigilant on it. But that account, it's had a lot of stuff. And when she ends up getting called out, again, she starts getting rid of things, dropping them. And, you know, you look at the numbers, the loss here. This is for somebody that they are a legitimate clout seeker. They want clout. They crave it. And they're hemorrhaging followers. You know, they try not to step over the line. Like I said, I don't give a shit. I'll call out whatever I feel like calling out, laugh at whatever I want to. And the people that like what I like, that's awesome. But the rest of it, well, I appreciate them following. But at the same time, you know, you're going to get offended sooner or later. That's not about that. This is about somebody that built themselves up. And they were doing very well, by the way. I mean, they have had an explosion of followers. If you look at this. Like Elon Musk did this. Like this is an account that it pretty much, I mean, over time, it did okay. It would get followers here and there. But when Elon Musk rolls into town, 50,000, 115,000. Again, that's what new Twitter did for them. What's up, Mystified? Thank you for the 10 gifted memberships, by the way. Thank you for that. I do appreciate it. Thank you. I hope you're doing good today, too, Mystified. You know, it's crazy. Like Mystified, like people like Mystified remind me, this is another reason why these fights are important. I mean, we have people like Mystified sharing links and getting hit. Not the links that are claimed, mind you. We're talking about links to interviews. Like there was a link to a Chrissy Mayer video that had it had the Jack Murphy beard, you know, the thing I showed you at the quartering at the very beginning, you know, that picture with the long beard there. Well, it was apparently taken down off Twitter. There was another link. And so, I mean, people that I know, that I see, that are doing absolutely nothing wrong, they are being censored. Because somebody has, somehow, gotten themselves involved in Twitter to the point that I don't even understand the level of involvement there. It doesn't even make sense to me, you know. I mean, we also had, you know, Eliza Blue, she managed to get herself a Tesla out of the mix for Elon. There was something brought up too that I didn't actually look into, but I am curious about. There were reports that Eliza Blue, so she was given, first of all, she was given a Tesla by Elon Musk at one time. Then she's rewarded again for speaking on behalf of it. This is why, here, you want me to show you why? In a minute. Show you why Elon is one of the reasons that he's doing damage control. He's doing it because she has been at their award ceremonies. There's actually a post. I'm looking for it really quick. There's a post where you have the head of Twitter Trust and Safety thanking her for speaking on behalf of survivors. And it's because she speaks at Twitter functions. I mean, that says plenty. You know, she's been bragging about, though, getting awards for being a survivor advocate. And like I said, it's crazy that she's being rewarded for this insanity, which is here it is. So she got a survivor leader award. Well, this is why people are so afraid to call this out, in my opinion, too, because she's being given like, oh, look, here are your survivor awards. You're given awards by companies. You're giving them by other places. And you know, what's astounding is just a month ago, she would have probably gotten 5,000 or 6,000 likes on this. Now she gets 780. The amount of clout that, I mean, she was at the top of her game. But again, Elon, the head of Trust and Safety, they let her into the mix. It's crazy. It bothers me too, because like I said, I know the damage that fakes do when it comes to this kind of discussion. I know the damage. I see it. I feel it in myself. You know, I feel this want to not trust people, and that's not fair, because there are many people that need support. They need a shoulder. They need more than that. Shit, they need advocates. These fake fucking advocates out there. I mean, again, what kind of damage does that do to them? What kind of damage does it do? There was a guy who actually did a discussion. He did a video. And in this video, he was talking about how he had befriended Eliza Blue, and he told her so many things about his life, about being abused and more. And he felt betrayed. He said, you know, people kept warning him, but he felt like, you know, they had a connection or a kinship. He felt like she cared. And now he felt betrayed because she took his story. When it's horrible to hear that shit. She took it and she used it for herself. She used it for gain, to get awards and clout. That's not advocacy. John S., thanks for the 5. Guess Elon had an extra from when AH gave hers back. So he gave it to Eliza. That's what I thought. You know, he actually has this background of giving Teslas to people. So when Jennifer Howell spoke about Elon Musk and the embryo controversy, you know, about the Amber Heard daughter, she also said that the mom talked about gifted Teslas. She said, you know, that there were a bunch of gifted Teslas that they were actually they were bugged, is what the claim was. And there was also claims that she gave them away to her sister. instead of keeping them, which I thought was strange. But it is interesting. Hey, a Tesla for you, a Tesla for you. It's just, things that make you go, huh, right? But anyway, all right. Well, I'm going to end it here. I think this has been a good discussion. I think there's going to be a lot more of this. There were some other things that came up today too. There were actually, I had wanted to talk about the, the newest stuff with Shazam. I did a video on this, him getting mobbed by a bunch of crazies because his dad died and they thought it'd be a good time to take him down. I also wanted to talk about I wanted to talk about a few wins that we've seen on the other side of that too, but I guess that can wait till tomorrow. I mean, this stuff, again, this is important. I'm going to leave it up. We'll see how it rides. I'm leaving up a few. I'm not going to leave up every live stream, I don't think. Again, there's an archivist, Cornbread Man. He keeps up with that, but I think this discussion is a very important one. I may actually do a video on this soon. Very soon. But I think I wanted to put all of that into perspective in this video because Defango disappeared. Defango was the guy who put out a long thread. It was archived in the Red State article. They took theirs down. You can see how easily this stuff just poof. It's like it goes up in smoke. But anyway, we're going to end here. Appreciate you, folks. See ya.